Hi all, and welcome to the third episode of our Tool Pool series on improving agility. In our last episode, we identified four pillars of the culture which impacts our agility. In this episode, we'll explore the first pillar of team structures and how can we reinforce the same to improve agility.
So I'm sure we all are familiar with this diagram. It shows a hierarchical organization structure where the bottom layer is primarily responsible for execution of operations and projects. Top layer is responsible to decide directions and take bigger decisions. Middle layer is created to ensure collaboration between directions and execution. They also bridge the gap of mentorship. In simple words, decisions, policies, budgets, and deadlines are driven from top to bottom, and they expect standardization, accountability, right data, and timely reports from the team.
This looks perfect, but as the organization grows, it brings some big challenges. So let's explore what kind of challenges are brought by such organization structures.
Challenge 1: Silos and rigidity in bottom layer. I'm sure many of us have observed this. But how does this happen? While designing the organization, we create small teams of different functions considering the skill they bring, and also split organization goals into functional goals. However, with time, they become too much focus on their functional goals and get into their silos rather than focusing on cross functional collaboration. We generally complain about this, but we forget that we have created such split by binding them towards functional goals. Now, how can we expect them to act like one team and focus on cross functional or organizational goals? Challenge 2: Middle layer ends up spreading bureaucracy rather than aligning directions and systems to bring desired efficacy. Follow the system. This is the order. This is how we work. Decisions are always by the top or by me, full of bureaucracy. Challenge 3: Top relies heavily on few reports coming via middle layers, and their connect with reality starts fading with time. This reduces the quality of decisions they make, and ultimately, people lose their faith on leaders. An organization moves towards strategic disasters. So let's have a look on how agile teams are designed. What you see in this image is a game of rugby. In certain events of rugby, almost entire team comes together and forms a structure which is called Scrum. Of course, each player in the team has its own strength and given different role, but they ultimately know that they are one team and working for a common goal. So if we compare this Scrum with our organization, we see here frontline players such as sales and customer support. However, all the other functions like purchase, warehouse, quality, production, all of them are becoming one team and not acting like different departments.
Sounds amazing, but how can we create such a cohesive team in our organization? By creating scrums, where all the functions are working towards a common goal. Of course, they all are responsible for their individual contribution, but the ultimate success is only measured by the common goal and not individual. So, how can we create such structures or scrums in our organization?
For that, let's first look at what are the common goal areas for most organizations. From a macro viewpoint, every organization has two key goals: A, impact on market or turnover, and B, value for organization or profitability. So how do we multiply our impact or turnover? By creating happy customers. And how do we achieve that? By meeting their expectations. What do we mean by expectations? Then the specifications, time, experience of dealing with us, and of course price. What else do we need to multiply the turnover? Add new customers. And how do we add new customers? Of course, if you have created happy customers, they will fetch new customers for you. However, this may not be sufficient for many of us. So what else can we do? Spread the awareness of our existence, or in simple language, marketing. What else do we need to multiply our impact or turnover? Add new products. And how do we identify the need of creating new products? When we are closely monitoring the changing expectations of our customers with time. So in nutshell, if we are focused on creating happy customers, adding new customers and adding new products with time, we can multiply our turnover faster. Now let's move to the second most important goal area, which is value for organization or profitability. So how do we improve profitability? By improving cost structures or improving resource utilization, adapting lean methods of working, and ensuring that all the employees are engaged with organizational objectives. To achieve these goals, typically this is how we would design the organization structure. Now let's see how agile organization would design it and bring it to a flat surface where everyone is working on common ground with different skill sets.
Agile structures are focused more on creating self-managing teams, which means they intend to create scrums which has all the required skill sets to achieve the common goal. So let's have a look at what kind of scrums or self-managing teams can be created to achieve the mentioned goal areas.
Scrum 1, happy customers. What all kind of skills or functionalities do we really need to create happy customers? Production planning, production, quality control, purchase, logistics, and finance. Unless all of these functions are not linked with one common goal, it will be very difficult to achieve consistent success. For example, role of purchase is to optimize the cost of supply, and role of finance is to ensure optimum utilization of funds. But at the same time, if they are not measured by the goal of happy customers, they will stay in their individual silos, where as individual they will be having great victories, but organization may end up dissatisfying the customer. Please remember that the actual functions required in each scrum will vary from organization to organization, and what we have mentioned here is just the example. Similarly, let's look at other scrums which an organization can create. Scrum 2, new customers. Who all you need to get new customers faster? Sales, marketing, R&D, and quality assurance. Scrum 3, new products. Which functions should work together to identify the need of new product and also launch it in a timely manner? Quality assurance, marketing, R&D, purchase, and production. Scrum 4, profitability. Which functions should work together to improve profitability of the organization? Quality assurance, finance, purchase, sales, R&D, and production. Scrum 5, happy team. Who should work together to create happy teams? HR and all the functional leaders. Now let's look at another terminology which is called SOS, meaning Scrum of Scrums. There are minimum two kind of SOS which are generally required in the organization. First, imagine you have multiple production facilities having multiple PPC professionals working in each facility. You want to ensure that good practices and principles are adopted across all production facilities. Typically, this is where we create PPC department. But here we will create a SOS where all PPC professionals assemble at predefined time frame and collaborate. This is called functional SOS. Second SOS. All functional SOS will have a leader. And while they are working with the teams towards the best practices, they also need to ensure that organizational purpose, goals, and values are being achieved. This is where we create cross-functional SOS. This is generally being chaired by the CEO.
We hope that you are able to visualize how to restructure your organization and make it more flat or agile. As conclusion, what we are doing is killing the bureaucracy of hierarchical organization structure and ensuring that teams are not divided by functional goals but they are united by organizational goals. In our next episode, we will talk more about how scrums or self-managing teams operate. Thanks for watching this video. If you are curious to explore this subject more or implement in your organization, write to us and get a copy of Agile Toolkit. Or you can also request a quick meeting with our experts.